with that, I give you Sequoia Austin.
That was way too kind. Way too kind. Hello, good evening. How y'all doing? Great. Awesome. Are you excited to talk about leadership today? I know it's your first day back on campus and you're getting back into the swing of things. However, I do want to make this fun. I do want to make this engaging for you, and I do hope that you walk away with something to take into this school year and this leadership role that you have. Like she said, obviously I'm Sequoia. I obviously was a student here in 2010, which feels like a very long time ago. Hopefully I don't look it. I went and did some teaching in Tampa, Florida for a little while. I moved to Denver. I was a teacher there as well. I became a dean of students there. I did also some school administration. And then most recently, I've come to do this other thing, which I'm calling mindset coaching. Actually, this weekend, I decided to change my title. Did you know you can reinvent yourself any day that you want? You just like switch your title and just say that you're something else and you want to be something else. So anyway, I decided that mindset coach wasn't sitting right. I was like, people are too confused by that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to say I'm a mental transformation coach. That sounds a little different, right? Now you're like, ooh, I want that. Okay? So yes, so I reinvented myself over the weekend and I reframed a little bit of what I call myself. So mental transformation. And what that is, essentially, is I get to hopefully inspire people to change their minds and think differently. That's it. Change your mind and think differently about whatever it is. Raise your hand if you want to change your mind about something. Anything. What do you want to change your mind about?
I mean, I'm open to it. I don't really know.
Okay. I like that. Somebody tell me, what do you want to change your mind about? Who's going to be vulnerable? Come on, leaders. What? You want to be able to eat mushrooms? Okay, I love that. If anything bad has ever happened to you, you probably want to change your mind about what that is or what that meant to you, that it happened for you, not to you, all that good stuff, right? All right, so again, changing your mind, changing your mindset about something can be transformative. And what I want to do today is hopefully change your mind or enhance your mind about the power of being a leader. Do you know how powerful you are as a leader? I'm letting that land on purpose because I want you to think about it, right? You have so much power as a leader. You have power as a person, but you also have a lot of power as a leader. You might be saying, I'm not really a leader yet, or I'm just the leader of this or that. You're the leader of your own life. Don't forget that, right? But you also are in this room today because you're also the leader of something else, okay? Whether it be a club or a sport or a school or a department, whatever it is, you're a leader of something. Maybe it's your family at home. Maybe you're the leader of your siblings. All right? And I want everybody here to leave this room knowing how much power you have as a leader and not to forget it the rest of this school year and the rest of your life. Because it matters. Because when you have power, the people that you lead also see their power. When you have power, the people that you lead also see that they have power. Right? If you're the captain of the soccer team, is the captain of the soccer team in here? Okay. Yeah? Sweet, yes, captain of the soccer team. You shouldn't be hiding your face. You should be proud because you have so much power as a leader. All right, but just think about this for a second. Right? She might do something this lead in a way this school year that empowers just a freshman to see the power within themselves and be all their authentic self, and then when they grow up and they become the captain of the soccer team, and then they feel even more empowered and they go do something in college and then they go cure cancer somewhere. You could be inspiring that. This school year, I don't care what you're the leader of, right? And when you realize that and you recognize that, poke your chest out a little bit more, don't you? Right? You realize what you do, what you say, all these things, they matter just a little bit more when you think about, I could be inspiring the next person, or I could be the next person curing cancer, or whatever the big thing is in your mind, right? And I hold myself that same way because, believe it or not, that same path has happened for me. I'm here able to talk to you and live this life that I love tremendously because I recognize my power as a leader. I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't able to be a leader in a school. If I wasn't a leader, I wouldn't have been a leader in a school if I hadn't been a teacher. I wouldn't have been a teacher if I didn't go to school for that and stuck through it. I wouldn't have done that if a teacher at this school wouldn't have inspired me to want to be a teacher in the first place. Right down this hall, right down Upper School Hall, the science wing. I was sitting in the front of a teacher, like 22, 23-year-old teacher, like her first year of teaching, just trying to make it through the day, just trying to not get eaten alive by these darn Houghton girls. And I was there, just chomping at the bit, laughing at every joke, really excited, like, yeah. And that is what put the fire in me to want to do this. And I wouldn't be standing here if that didn't happen there. Do you think that teacher thought that she was inspiring this? No, she didn't know at the time. She was like, I'm just trying to make it through the day. Just trying to learn how to be a teacher, right? So I want everybody to be able to, first, before I get into anything else, recognize your power as a leader in your own life or in your club or in a team that you're a part of, all right? So, everybody feel a little empowered just a little bit? Just a little bit, okay. It's just people like sitting up a little straighter, right? Because you're a leader. People are watching. It matters. All right? And so, here's everything you're going to need to know about leadership. I owe it to my friend Simon. Do you guys know Simon? I don't know Simon? Huh? Somebody said it. Simon Says. You guys know the game Simon Says, right? Anybody not know how to play Simon Says? Okay, Simon Says, it's an awesome game, right? There's a leader and there's a person that tells you what to do. If they say Simon Says, then you do it. If they don't say Simon Says, you don't do it, right? I think we should play a game real quick. So everybody stand up. Everybody knows how to play the game, right? Raise your hand if you don't know how to play Simon Says. Okay, we're going to start right now. We're going to start right now. All right. Actually, I forgot one piece. Everybody sit down. If you sat down, go ahead and actually sit down because I'm not saying Simon Says. All right, let me get everybody back. In 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Body in motion, mind in motion, learning, remembering, impact, experience. Okay, so everything you need to know about leadership, right there. Okay, first piece. The title alone gives you a lot of power. I declared myself Simon, so who did you follow? Did that on purpose. Okay? Remembering that if you've been voted into whatever, you guys voted for whoever's the leader of this, the president of this, if you just got pushed into it, if the person before you left or went somewhere and you automatically got, no matter what the reason is, when you have the title, you need to remember that it gives you a lot of power, just like Simon. If I made one of you Simon, and gave you that title, we would have followed you, correct? Next piece. What you say, they do. Right? What you say, they do. And sometimes what you say not to do, they also do. I think Suzanne also said that as well. Right? Remembering that just because I have the title, that's not all the work. I have to remember everything that I say matters and has power. And I have to be able to make sure what I'm saying is actually clear and efficient enough for those to follow me. Okay? And the last piece is the nonverbal. Most of the people sitting down followed either the opposite of what I said or simply what I did. If I went like this, people instinctually do what? They're following because I'm the leader. Same way, it's not just your words, it's not just your title, it's also what you do. Do, say, and your title all make a difference. But remember, we have power now. So we've poked our chest out. We understand how important it is as a leader, and we know that those things are playing a role. Does that make sense? Perfect. So, what roles do we have in the room? Let me get a couple from the table. Like, who am I talking to right now? What are you the leaders of? Cold call, go.
Date Club, UCC, and just exec club president.
All right, that was like 10 things. Great. You?
Peer counselor.
Peer counselor. Yep. Mushrooms.
Oh, okay.
All right. Love it. Blue shirt. That's you.
Jason
Okay. Oh, goodness. That's good. I love it. I feel you, girl. I feel you. Don't worry about it. You guys still have the beanies, right? It's like a huge deal. I wear that thing for like 4 weeks. I didn't get it. All right. Back, I think it's a Miami shirt. Is that Miami? Yes.
Yeah, screen and swim tackle.
I love it. Okay, getting some sports. Let me see right there. White thing up.
Young dads and young activists.
All right. You gonna answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got her hand raised. Tell me about it.
BSU.
Yep.
President.
Yes. The president of it. All right. Did I do the same one yet? My friend from basketball camp.
Peer counseling, debate, BSU, scribbler.
Okay, also 10 things. And 11 things. Amazing. Okay, great. Now just give me a sense of what we've got in here. And now I need everybody to understand again, no matter what it is, if it's 10 things, 11 things, one thing, I don't care, right? You now have an obligation to be the best to ever do it. You realize that, right? I want everybody to go home and set up, make a TikTok, and model walk towards it and say, I'm the best to ever do blank job. Y'all ready for that? Y'all ready to take it on like that? I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Maybe people laugh, maybe people say, oh, like, she's leading too great. She's taking it, she's too enthusiastic, right? Yeah, no. We don't care about that, right? You now have the obligation to be the best to ever do. Everybody sit up straight for me. All right, it's posture check. It's what I call a posture check. So, I'm going to go into what I consider the 4 principles of leadership. There's a lot of books out there. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of speakers. There's a lot of people that say a lot of different things. But I hope that you can connect to this a little bit more because I used to be you, right? I'm one of you. You're soon to be graduate of Holton Arms, right? And I was in this space and I've had this experience as a Holton girl, okay? And so I call it Sequoia Austin's framework for leadership, and it's called ADHD. Okay, 2 things before I get into it. I didn't know how that was going to be received, so I'm glad there was a chuckle. Okay, so that was a coincidence, but not really, because there's no such things as coincidences. But it's called ADHD because that's just the acronym that ended up being. However, 2 things I want to say about that. One, and this is a personal thing for me, and if you take on a piece of this, that's great. But when I take a look at leadership, I try and do 2 things. I try to rewrite a narrative, and I try to leave a legacy, no matter where I go, right? As she kindly introduced me, right? When I was at Maryland, if I was on the bench, I was the best person on the bench. If it was my turn to scream and yell, I was the best screamer and yeller. I promise you that. My freshman year, I used to stand up the entire game. Just stand up on the bench, just standing there. Just in case you need me, here I'm ready, right? But again, that to me, I didn't really think of it like this at the time, but I realized that was part of me being a leader, leaving a legacy. What's that girl doing? Standing up the whole time, but not in the game. That's weird, right? No, it's not. I'm leaving a legacy, right? I'm saying this is what you do. This is how you cheer on your teammates. This is how you be the best at whatever it is your role is, right? And that's important to me. Same thing as the school that I helped lead in Denver, right? I can leave there and I hear people say, oh yeah, we talked about this thing that you did. Or yeah, we still do it that way because that's the way that you did it, Sequoia, right? And that's important to me, all right? And the other piece is rewriting narratives, okay? There's no point in being a leader of what you're doing this year if you're just gonna do it the exact same as the person before you. There's no point. Like, what's the point of your name? What's the point of you as the being of the next person when they write the list of the person that was the next leader of this? They might as well just group it into the person before you. So when you go home tonight, when you think about your roles in your 11 things or your one thing, right? Think about how you want to rewrite, how you want to make some sort of impact, something different, right? And rewrite the narrative. And that's why I'm going to rewrite the narrative for ADHD, okay? ADHD is going to have a different meaning today, right? And same thing, if people put labels on you, right, you don't have to take on the narrative of that label. A defining characteristic of ADHD is hyperactivity. And that's why I really like that it ended up being that acronym. Because as a leader, you should be hyperactive in every part of the club or the team or the group that you're leading and that you're in. Okay? So when you think about those four, that's the narrative that I'm rewriting, right? That means hyperactivity. It's a characteristic. It's a positive thing. It's a superpower that you get to use. Okay? And use that for any label that anybody puts on you or you give yourself. Okay? So I'm going to give you the 4 letters right now, and I invite your participation in some of these pieces that we get going into. Okay? So the first one is A, and it stands for authentic confidence. Who can tell me what they think that means? Authentic confidence. Somebody take a stab at it. Yes.
Just owning who you are and being yourself and being unapologetic about it.
I love it. Being who you are, being unapologetic about it. One more person. Authentic confidence.
Like actually being confident in yourself, like not showing others like bravado, actually being genuinely confident.
Genuinely confident. Yes. I could have just said C, right? Confident. But that would make the acronym as great. But, right? Authentic is important in front of that word. Okay? And Ms. Jones also hinted at that, right? If it's not authentic to you to get up and start doing what I'm doing and dancing in front of 100 people and doing, why would you lead that way? So I charge you with thinking about what does it mean to be authentically confident, not trying to mimic the person that did it before you, not trying to be what you saw on YouTube or somewhere else, not even trying to be what I'm doing right now. What is authentic to you to show that what you're good at, right? If you're not the booming voice, I'm going to be the jokester in front of everybody, maybe you send the best gosh darn emails after each meeting. Like, I'm the email sender. And they're good and they're organized and everyone knows what to do because I send the best emails. That's how I lead. That's how I'm an authentic, confident leader. Does that make sense? Okay? So I want you to think to yourself, what does authentic confidence look like for you? I hope you said something valuable because your words matter and you're a leader and you're filled with power. Okay? I want to give you a couple examples. Any Office fans? They watch The Office? Okay. I'm a die-hard Office fan. If you need one little leadership tidbit, just YouTube Dwight Schrute. Okay? That is an authentically confident person. Right? Am I wrong? No. He does not care. He is himself. It is about beats. It's about farming. And it's about the mustard t-shirt. Every day. Right? No matter what Jim says. Right? I want you to bring some Dwight Schrute confidence to what you're doing. Right? Authentic to yourself. To yourself. Oh gosh, I'm going to go on an office tangent. If you want to talk office later, I'll be outside. Some other examples for me. I was the blue captain. Can I see some blue? Go blue. Anybody? Okay. And if you can imagine, I took that very seriously. And I took every opportunity to get in that sweaty Panther costume. I was the mascot. I was like, whatever we needed. Whatever we needed. Right? I wanted to be the best version of that. I wanted people to get excited about the blue team. I wanted people to be excited about it. That's what I wanted. And so I took it seriously when I got that role. Right? That to me was authentic. I was excited about a color and I was going to be the best at it. Okay? Another example too, I wanted to bring in. You might remember this. This is she recognized me from Maryland basketball camps that I used to lead. And one year they bought like 10,000 of these crappy, paper-thin little backpacks. Like they had the logo on it and they wanted to sell them at the camp store and stuff like that. And Nobody's buying them because they were super terrible and cheap, right? But I took it upon myself as a leader, understanding that I was Simon in a sort of way, and I said, you know what? We're going to get these sold, don't you worry. And I took that paper thin backpack and I put like a pen in there and I wore that thing around all summer. Just walk around like, yeah, you see this? All the little kids. Like, oh my gosh, what's that? Like, yeah, it's the new Maryland backpack. You should get you one, right? And then what happened? Other counselors and people leaving, right? It was like, yeah, let's do this. Oh, this is so funny and cool. Let's do this, right? Right? And then all of a sudden, the paper thin backpacks are flying off the shelf, right? Should have got a cut of it now, thinking back, but that's okay, because I got to display some authentic confidence, right? I got excited about something. It was fun for me to pick an item that seemed so normal and so ordinary, but make it a big deal, be the best at it, right? And so whatever that is, that version of that for you and your club or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If I can do that with a paper thin backpack that costs like 25 cents, right? You can do that with your activism, with your team, whatever it is that you're leading. That it can be that important within this school, within this community, within this state, within this country, within this world. Okay? And I want you to remember that. And remember, you are Simon. So when you are confident, they are. All right, all together now. So when you're confident, they're confident. Yes, because you're Simon. Right, got that one? Perfect, I'm gonna move on. Number 2, A-D. D stands for decisiveness. Who considers themselves decisive? Good at making decisions. One person. All right. Nobody. Yes, if there's a fire, I'll follow you, I guess. We should be more decisive. Honestly, to me, decisiveness equals leadership. Let's think about it. Give you an example. Your mom, right? Your mom is... Bear with me. Your mom is a leader, probably, maybe, most likely, of your home, of your family, of your household. Maybe it's dad, maybe it's whoever you live with. I get that. But just theoretically think with me here, right? And your mom, and she's the leader of the home, and you're like, yes, everybody understands that, cool. And you're like, one night, you're like, I want to go to a party, and I'm going to take the car, and I'm going to drive 10 of my friends, and I'm going to stay out till 2 a.m., right? And you go up to your mom, and you're like, hey, Mom, I'm going to go to a party, I'm going to take the car, I'm going to take 10 of my friends, and I'm going to be out till 2 a.m. Is that cool? And she says, I don't know. If you ask your mom that question, and she said, I don't know, do you consider her the leader anymore? You're like, well, I mean, I guess I'm the leader if I have to make the choice, right? Decisiveness. You go to the leader to get an answer for a decision, correct? All right? Same with a teacher. The teacher is the leader of the classroom, per se, right? And if you get into the class and you're like, oh, Miss Smith, is the homework due tomorrow or Thursday? And she says, I don't know. Okay, are you the teacher still, or, right? Like, what comes up for you if you go and ask a teacher when the homework is due and they're like, I don't know. Or you ask your mom, can you do something? She's like, I don't know, right? If you're the president of the United States, and they're like, this country had a devastation and something happened and we need to send the supplies, can we send the supplies? And the president's like, well, he's right. I don't know, right? The first thing that comes up is, are you the leader, right? So, as leaders, right, you're going to have your version of all of that stuff. At some point this year, you're going to have to make a decision. What is it that you guys are putting at the forefront? What are you guys prioritizing? What color t-shirt are you going to get? What font, right? All of these are decisions that you're going to have some decisiveness about, okay? And it's very important that you realize, as a leader, you need to be decisive, because it's quite literally the definition. I don't need to ask you if you're not going to have an answer, okay? So, and I want to make one point before I move on, right? Is that I don't know isn't necessarily always a bad answer, right? I'm not saying you have to know everything. But I don't know, let's collaborate, right? Or I don't know, let me see what other people think and I'll get back to you with an answer. Or I don't know, let me go look it up myself and figure it out for you is a lot different than, I don't know, right? So I want to be clear on that. It's okay to not know, but as a leader, you need to be ready to make choices and be decisive. All right? Perfect. So, if you need some practice with this, here's a great practice because you are the leader of your own life, right? Everybody here is leader of their own life? Okay, cool, perfect. If you're the leader of your own life, right, that means you get to make decisions. So the next time your friend, right after this, your friend's gonna say, hey, you wanna go to Chipotle or Chick-fil-A? Ah, now you're decisive, okay. Right? That is a very easy way to practice some decisiveness. If you're not feeling confident in being decisive in whatever it is that you're going to have to do in your role this year, that's okay, right? But practice in your own life, right? The next time there's a group project and you guys are divvying out parts, instead of waiting for the last one or waiting for I'll just take whatever. No, I'll be taking the intro part because it's the easiest and I'm going to be really good at it, okay? Right? So, decisiveness, practice it in your own life. You are the leader of your own life. And that's a space that you can continue to build up that authentic confidence. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Because when you are decisive, some of y'all are catching on real quick. And some of y'all are taking a little longer. That's okay. Because when you're decisive, there we go. All right. Number 3. H is for humility. Somebody tell me what that word means. Yes, humble. Anybody else? Humility. Yeah.
Like not letting your power cloud your judgment.
Yes. Humility. Merriam-Webster's dictionary says, what was it? Freedom from pride and arrogance, the state of being humble. Right? So what would this have to do with leadership, though? Yeah.
Like not thinking that you're better than other people just because you're in a leadership role?
Sure, right? We got to keep our wits about us. Yes. Anybody else?
Like not doing something just because someone wants you.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, one more.
It gives you greater understanding of the people you're leading.
Absolutely. I love all of those answers. More than humble, I think the word that screams out for me from this word is human. Right? And just point blank period, when the titles fall away, when the school falls away, when all the things that you're doing fall away, right? At the end of the day, we're just humans, right? And as leaders, we cannot forget that. We cannot. Because the moment that you're treating someone as less than or different than or whatever the case may be, and you're not being a human at the end of the day, when you make mistakes, when they make mistakes, when things don't go as you want them to go, you're not hitting your goals like you want to hit your goals within your team or your group or whatever you're doing, right? At the very end of the day, all we can lean on is we're both human, right? And so as a leader, that's critical. Because when you lose sight of that, then you lose sight of the people that are there to follow you, that you expect to follow you. Because they want to be seen as humans, right? So when you have humility, they have humility. When you have humility, they have humility. Here's what I want to do, actually. For about 60 seconds, I want everybody to stand up, and you're going to walk over to somebody else and tell them what you value in them as a human. Everybody do that? Hope you got a little love from somebody. Hope you felt seen as a human for just a moment. All right? Because that's important to me, for everybody to have a little bit of that. All right, last one. Wrapping up here. Okay? ADHD. Last one stands for drive. No, you don't have to have a license to be a leader. Drive, I mean as in what drives you. There's a really cool concept that I came across a couple months ago that I just wanted to drop here. Who can think for a second and tell me what's the difference between motivation, inspiration, and drive? Motivation, inspiration, and drive. Who has a thought on that? What do you think?
Motivation is like what is like something that makes you do something. Like inspiration is something that makes you want to do something, and drive is you wanting to do it yourself.
Very cool. That's insightful. Who else? Hard act to follow. What? Motivation, inspiration, and drive. One more person.
To me, they're kind of like synonyms. Like, I feel like they're all very similar use of interchangeably.
Yeah. I think my point is that you can't use them interchangeably, but I think that you're right, that they are connected, right? Those are actually two perfect. I'm so happy those two things you said. Because they are connected and they are very similar and they do mean the same thing in a way. Here's how I look at it. Kind of have some levels to them, right? Motivation's kind of like she said, that first thing that maybe gives you, it kind of goes to like time limits for me. And motivation is something that might motivate me to do something like on a daily basis. Feeling motivated today, right? People say that. Inspiration might be that spark that takes you, that goes a little longer, right? I'm inspired to do this thing. Maybe that's more of like a month, something that could take you like weeks to a month, right? And then drive is something that's a little bit more underlying, that takes you a little bit deeper, maybe like you thinking yearly. Does that make sense? So we've got motivation, we've got inspiration, we've got drive, okay? And to your point, they are all connected because they're connected by your why. And that is absolutely critical as a leader, no matter what you're leading. Again, from what I hear, debate club to whatever, soccer to all of the wonderful, wonderful, impactful things that are happening here by you, right? Each of them, if you're not tapped in and tuned into your why, people are going to see through that pretty quickly, okay? And so here's one piece that I want to leave you with when it comes to drive. Make sure that you understand what your why is for this particular role, and that you spend some time sharing it with the people that you expect to follow you. That's going to tap into that authenticity. That's going to tap into that humanity, because people are going to see you for understanding what it is that you're doing here. Who's just doing it because they got voted into it? Anybody doing their role because they were like, oh, me? You guys want me to do it? No? Who's doing it for the college app? Oh, you bunch of liars. Think I never applied to college? Come on. Yes. All right? We have some different reasonings, and if that is your reason, you better get up in front of your people and say, hey, I needed this for my college app, but I'm going to be the best person to do it. I take it seriously. I'm ready to lead you all. I want to do it well. I want to do it the right way. Okay? Be honest with yourself. Tap into that why and spend some time getting the people that follow you to understand your why. If you're a sports captain, right? I implore you to start the season by saying, what do you guys want? Why are you here? Are you here to get a little exercise? Okay, well, good. I'm glad I know that. Are you here because you want to win a championship? Are you here because you want to develop your work ethic? Are you here because you want to put it on your college app like me? Right? Take some time with your group, okay, to make sure that you are tapped into your why so that you empower them to tap into theirs. That make sense? Okay. Because when you're driven, they're driven. I knew we'd get there by number 4. Perfect. All right, so I just want to recap before I dial out for you, okay? Point number 1, leadership is just a ginormous game of Simon Says. If you remember that from today, if that's the only thing you remember, I'll be fine with that. What you do, what you say, the title that you've been given or that you've taken on, it matters, and people are watching, and you should take it on with power. Okay? Point number 2, you have power. Letting that that land on purpose. You have power. You have power, you have power. And the more that you sit in your power, the more you can inspire others to find theirs. That is the responsibility and that is the honor you have of being the leader of your 11 things or your one thing. All right? If you'd like, one great way to be an impactful leader is to remember that you have an opportunity to change a narrative and you have an opportunity to leave a legacy no matter what it is. I gave you the examples I gave you on purpose. A 25-cent backpack at a basketball camp is a way to leave a legacy. Standing up on the bench, just in case, is leaving a legacy. Changing the way that an entire school runs and how we look at equity and how we treat students and things like that and the policies and things we put in, that's leaving a legacy. I gave you all of those because you'll have a chance to pick one for yourself. All right? And again, these 4 pieces that I feel are really the only 4 pieces you need for leadership. And you notice I didn't put skill. Did I put skill? Was that one of them? ADHDS? No. Because that can be learned, that can be developed. But there are these other pieces that can be learned and developed as well, right? That I feel are even more critical. Right? Authentic confidence. Be who you are, unapologetically. Do it your way that feels good and right to you. Decisiveness. Be ready to choose Chipotle or Chick-fil-A. Be ready at any moment. It could happen at any moment. Right? That decision and all the others. Okay, that is the definition of leadership. People come to you for an answer. Be ready to give one or to be ready to find one. Okay? Humility. Seeing other people as humans, giving yourself the grace, giving your followers the grace to make mistakes, to figure things out with you, right? But at the end of the day, this is true. It might be a cliche, but people don't always remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. It's true. It's true. And the last one, drive. Be tapped into your why. Challenge the people that you lead to also know what their why is so that you guys can drive with purpose instead of everyone being all in 1,000 different places with 1,000 different aims. Drive and be in tune with that why. Okay? And so with that, I hope that you take on your roles this year with all of the pizzazz and excitement that you have within you, that you draw from the people that follow you, and that you remember that you have power as a human, as a person, as a leader, because when you have power, they have power. There we go. Thanks, guys.